This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
Hi, I'm Dorothy. Are you ready to dive deep into one of the bougiest zip codes in the country? The good, the bad, the ups and downs, the real and the not so real. This is That Greenwich Life. This episode is brought to you by Steam. Steam has been on Greenwich Avenue for years, but I bet you didn't know that about a year ago, the same team heading up legendary chef Peter Chang's Washington, D.C. restaurants took over at Steam. And now they're serving up authentic, fresh, homemade dim sum, noodles, rice dishes, and more. Their offerings are healthy and so much more than your typical Chinese food takeout or delivery. So visit steamgreenwich.com today and go ahead and give yourself the night off for making dinner. Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Thursday to another episode of That Greenwich Life. I am your host, Dorothy Cascerceri Simone, and I'm so happy to have you all here. Last week, we talked all about with my friend Allison Sepanera. I call her Allie. I've known her since high school, 25 years. But Allison Sepanera, the anxiety healer. We talked about success and what does it mean? What does it really mean to people? And we definitely both decided that it doesn't mean fancy house, fancy car. Certainly in Greenwich, it means that to many, many people. Let's be honest. But she talked about how success for her was, waking up every day, feeling grateful. She suffers from anxiety. So a day that she can move through life, move through the day with ease, and, has food on her table and loved ones in her life, that is her definition of success. And so I felt that this week's episode really kind of would follow that same just that same tone and that same idea. My very good friend, Julie Vincent, who has a coaching business called Clear Space for Joy. If you go back to episode 6, I believe, she was on the show. She's one of my best friends. As you know, if you've been listening, we just went to Mallorca together with our 2 boys in August for a vacation. And we've known each other since our sons were born. And she has been telling me non-stop. I have my guest laughing who I'm gonna introduce in a second. I always have these really long intros. But she's been telling me non-stop about human design. Okay. She talks about it all the time. And she keeps saying I really think you're a projector. I really think you're a projector. Now, I don't really know what that means. When I hear, I think you're a projector, to me, it feels like you're projecting. That sounds like a negative thing. If you're ever projecting something on other people, or you're projecting, it means that you're taking something that, is negative for you, and then you're making it somebody else's problem. So I'm 100% certain that what she's talking about and what we're going to learn on the show is not that. So I know that it's a positive thing. I don't know if this is my human design, but we're about to find out, because in studio, guys, here in Greenwich, Connecticut, I have Brianne Cutler. She is, now you said it better than I could say it.
I'm an intuitive life and success coach and an expert in human design.
So just before we started recording, I just want to mention this. I learned all that I needed to know about human design and why it matters to me, but why it really should matter to everyone who's listening. It helps us return to our authentic selves, the souls we were born as before the world and family and trauma and all the, life experiences changed us. I said to Brianne earlier, and this part is insane, okay? I said, the person I am today is so different than the person I was for so much of my life. And she corrected me and said, no, you are the real you now. Like you did so much work and you shed so much, even relationships that I had to shed, that allowed me to return to my authentic self. And that just hit, because that's why I think at ease in life. And it makes so much sense. I was looking at it almost the wrong way. The person that I was for so long, that person was in survival mode. That person was different than the pure blueprint of my soul. So I want to unpack this for everyone who is listening. Okay. An intuitive life and success coach and an expert in human design. Now, usually the journalist in me, because, I have a journalism background, I have a long career of working in newspapers and magazines and celebrity news. And the journalist in me never shows up anywhere unprepared. I do my research. But I was a little bit stumped on this one in a good way, because I knew that Brianne would be coming into the studio and she would explain it all. But I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know what my human design, what is it, like my human design?
Your human design type energy
my
strategy.
type energy strategy is. And I don't really know much about it, but I'm really excited to find out more about it today. Because this is really about, now you're going to talk about it better than I can, but what I gather from what Julie has told me is that this is the way in which you interact with other energies around you, the energies of people, of environments, places, things. And I'm really into this kind of work. So Brianne, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It is such a pleasure to have you. And this was kind of a last minute idea that Julie and
Totally
I cooked
was.
up when we were together. The boys were playing Switch. Our sons were playing, Minecraft Switch. And we had this idea and we called Brianne and we made it happen. So I really appreciate you being here. Also, I'm very honored because I think you mentioned that you have turned down some requests to be on podcasts. So
That's correct.
the fact that you have decided and agreed to be here means a lot to me.
Well, thank you.
Of
I'm
course.
so glad that it was finally a yes inside my body. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But so far, it's been a no. And it's been frustrating because that's when I'm out of alignment. Same with you. When we're frustrated, we're out of alignment. So finally, it was yes. And it was like,
Oh, I love that. And by the way, speaking of, you're saying like in my body, right? Some people who are listening might be totally connecting with that. I totally connect with that. I have gotten so much better at paying attention to what my gut is telling me or my instinct. Oh, no, wait, I haven't. Okay. I didn't say I'm good at it. I didn't say I'm good at it. I just said I've gotten better at it.
So yours is different than mine. Mine is my body, but we're going to get into it. And your strategy, your authority, what helps you make decisions is actually your emotions and your feelings.
Oh, that's actually not surprising at all.
So
My husband could definitely attest to that.
right? But those emotions and feelings were taught that they're bad. And we're taught to turn them off. We're taught not to feel. We're taught to be quiet. We're taught not to have those quote unquote temper tantrums or those reactions, right?
Oh, 100%.
Or responses. But actually, your truth comes from your emotions and feelings. So your job is to start to really get to know them because they're actually telling you what's right for you. So you have something that's called an emotional wave. So you have no truth in the moment. You only have truth in time. So you have to sleep on things before you know what's best for you.
And become less reactive, which I've done a much better job of in recent years.
So the reason for that is that you don't have clarity yet because you have to go through something that's called an emotional wave. And you're going to feel like every emotion when you are asked to do something or something comes up, like for you starting this podcast. In the beginning, you probably had one feeling and you're getting excited about it, but then you sat there and you go to sleep and you talk to your husband and your friends about it and you're just like, well, I don't know. Like it feels good, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't feel good now.
Maybe I don't have time for this. Maybe it's not
like,
the right
is
thing.
Is this right for me?
100%.
You go through fear, you go through anger, you go through excitement, you go through joy. You're just like, oh, this is it. And then, oh my God, it's not it. So you go like this and that's your wave. And what you need to learn to do is ride that wave and let it go back to baseline. And once it goes back to baseline, that's your truth and what's best for you, but you're never going to know in the moment.
Right.
However, just remember, in the moment, that first response might actually be your truth, but you still have to wait and you will know, and you'll only have 80% clarity. So it's never going to be 100% right. You're going to have like, when you get to 80%, you're just like, okay, that's enough. I just got to go with it.
I love this because it's spot on. And by the way, you guys, before we started, I'm gonna post this on my Instagram. But before we started, Brianne came in. She lit a Palo Santo stick, and she did like a whole little like mini ceremony, clearing the energy, clearing the space, to basically make sure that like no energy from whatever was happening in the room prior bled into our discussion. So I really appreciated that and enjoyed it. And it smells amazing in here.
So peaceful.
It's so peaceful.
Right?
It's so peaceful. But okay, so let's start here. Okay. Now, By the way, before Brianne came on the show, she asked me 2 questions. Where was I born? 3 questions, I guess, right? Yeah. Where was I born? What time was I born? And the date of my birth, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I texted my mom. I mean, obviously I know my birthday. It's September 1st. I know where I was born, Nazareth
Happy
Hospital.
Belated.
Thank you. Nazareth Hospital in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I knew that I was born somewhere in the 7 o'clock hour because I'm like a night owl, but I needed to know the exact time. So texted my mom, and then not 2 hours later, popped up on my phone, little baby Dorothy Cascerceri footprints on my birth certificate. And I literally just sent it right to Brianne. So she is going to do in real time, she's going to share with me what my human design style is.
Yeah.
Okay. But before that, can you please give us an overview of what exactly is human design?
Human design is basically the blueprint of who you truly are. So everyone is born with an essence. We all have a unique essence. It's just like a fingerprint. Every single one of us is unique. Every single one of us has a unique fingerprint. Every single one of us has a unique essence of who we truly are and why we're here. Throughout life, that begins to get rewritten because of our parents and things that our parents have been through, whatever trauma, whatever insecurities they've been through. And it actually goes 7 generations back. So that kind of comes into it as well. So your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles.
This is generational trauma, really. Yeah. And I talk about it a lot on That Greenwich Life because it's something that in my dark night of the soul that I went through with my fertility journey, starting in 2019 with the traumatic loss of a baby at 21 weeks old. I have done so much soul work, really a lot of shadow work, a lot of really deep, hard work. And I've learned a lot about generational trauma, and I've incorporated it into kind of understanding more about myself and why I was a certain way and still am,
right.
but I shed a lot. I shed a lot of
I love
past,
that you use shedding.
Right? I shed a lot of past conditioning throughout this work. So anyway, so I love to hear anybody who talks about generational trauma. I know that I am aligned with and I'm understanding. So
I love that you used aligned as well, because that's what I do. My business is called Be Aligned, soul, heart, mind, and body. And really, truly what it is for me is that as an intuitive life and success coach, I didn't even know why I named my business Be Aligned. And I didn't even know about human design yet. Like it wasn't even on my radar when I became a coach.
Wow.
And on my journey to self-discovery and healing and helping to heal my clients, I just randomly stumbled upon human design, and everything that I read, I was like, oh my God, how did this know that?
Right.
And then I have a gut response and I have truth in the moment. So like instantly I just knew, yep, this is for me. So I just went on this deep dive and I learned about myself. I learned about my husband. Oh my God, that was transformative. Like I can't tell you how it's transformed our marriage.
That's really great information to have
crazy.
Because I talk about my husband, my poor husband on this show so much.
It's crazy.
And about how much growing I do believe that he, like everybody needs to do. It's not just him. I'm not singling him out, only some days.
But the secret is that he doesn't actually need to do it. Because when you're doing it, your vibration and your essence is automatically undoing it in him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This might be better than any like marriage counseling out there.
I do a lot of work with couples, a lot. I also do it with parenting. I also do it with your business. But essentially, let's stop beating around the bush and get to it. Human design is your energetic blueprint of who you are. So it takes in 5 different modalities, like the ancient wisdom of the Jewish Kabbalah, traditional Chinese medicine, the Hindu chakra system, astrology, and then quantum physics. And it just puts it all into one map, and it gives you this blueprint of who you are. And every time I read it to people, they just start to cry. Because like I can feel my clients right now because they just are finally seen for their truth. and then they can get rid of what they're not.
Right.
And they can shed everything that they're not.
Right.
And what you were saying with generational trauma is that like we have this essence, and this is the part of life. Like this is not a bad thing. We have to be rewritten. We have to be imprinted on. Like all of these things are part of our journey. But the most beautiful thing is coming back to yourself. And the one thing that I love the most about having my children and getting into human design when I did is that I know who my children are. I know their soul. I know their purpose. I know how they make their decisions, and I get to teach it right from the very beginning.
Right.
So nobody can do the peer pressure. Nobody can get them out of alignment. When they get out of alignment, that's okay, because you're constantly like this. We always forget, right?
Right.
And that's
You're
the point.
zigzagging. Yeah, you're always kind of zigzagging.
If we don't forget who we are, we don't grow. So even me, I always have new clients and they're just like, oh, your life must be so perfect. Like, you know, all these things,
right.
You must be so happy. And I'm like, no, actually I chose a really fun life that's full of trauma and hardship and pain, but I know why I did. So I could do this.
Exactly.
Right? This is my calling. And I've always known since I was 4 years old, it'll make me cry, that I was going to heal the world.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And it wasn't until I found human design that it was actually written. And it was just like this big, like, yes.
Oh,
yes.
like this is what I always
This is
knew.
me.
Right.
But this is what everyone told me I'm not. And it's just the fighting to be you. And this is what is beautiful for my clients and the people that I meet. And I can't even stop doing it, even on the street. And my friends, Julie, all the time when we go for dinners and we go to these events, she's like, stop giving it away for free. And I'm like, I can't help it. I just see them. I feel them. I have to do it.
You have to do it. I mean,
I have to do
guys,
it.
if you're listening right now, you're not able to see, I do put these episodes on YouTube so you can watch, but I'm a little bit behind. I'm not going to lie. I need to like hire an assistant to do it. But if you are listening, Brianne is sitting here with tears coming out of her eyes, so choked up and emotional about this calling and this knowing that she's had for her entire life. Now, I'm going to stop you for 1 second because I 100% am picking up everything that you're putting down. This is exactly what I believe about the world and the universe and energy and all of these things, because it's true. However, there are a lot of people, not to bring up my husband again. My husband is like the Chewy of the Chelsea Handler show. Remember like her like little like sidekick assistant? But anyway, not to bring him up, but there are a lot of people that are kind of maybe listening and thinking, what does this mean? Like I don't know about this. Like Chinese medicine, like what does this all mean? I don't know if I believe it. What do you say to them?
Well, let me read your chart.
Let me read your chart.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll
you'll
understand it better.
Every time they're like, how did you know that? What do you mean? And I tell them things that they didn't even know about themselves, but it unlocks it. And they know it's true.
Right. Okay.
You know it's true.
Yep.
So like when I was telling you about making decisions and your emotions, you're like, oh my God, my husband will tell you. He probably doesn't have an emotional authority like me. So this was like the greatest thing for my husband and I, because my husband's like you. He has an emotional authority. I am a cool, calm, collected body of water. But because I have an open emotional solar plexus, yours is defined. I pick up your energy and I feel it stronger than what you do. So you may be having a feeling at like a level 4 or 5 inside your body, but my spidey senses, I pull your emotions and feelings in and I feel them at a level like 8. So you can't hide from me. Nobody can hide from me.
So guys, I'm lucky enough today that I am going to really get to like the heart of this as far as I'm concerned as a person. There's so many more questions I have, generally speaking, about human design, and hopefully we'll get to them. But if not, we're going to definitely have you back for part 2. But if you're listening and you're kind of like, wow, this is fascinating. Like I am in, locked and loaded. How can people get in touch with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you? Through Instagram or
you can
website?
do through Instagram. It's b.aligned.bc.
b.aligned.bc. The BC is for Brianne Cutler.
Yeah. And you can also do Brianne at bealigned.ca. I'm Canadian. I don't know if you can hear
Oh,
me.
I can hear it actually now. That's so interesting.
The gentleman out there called it right away.
Yeah, that's
he was
so
just
funny.
like, so you're Canadian? I was like, what was it? What was it?
Maybe the way you said out, or I don't know.
No, it's probably when I say sorry a lot.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
But so, okay. So guys, so you can find Brianne at these two places, the email address, the Instagram. You can always follow me on Instagram at Dorothy on TV. And you have something really exciting that's going to be starting.
I do.
Right? It's going to be starting around, I don't know. We don't know the exact beginning of November, with Julie Vincent, who we talked about, my friend who is a life coach, and her coaching business is Clear Space for Joy. Yeah, so this is for now. This is not remote though. This is an in-person thing, right?
This is an in-person now.
So
however, I have a bunch of Canadian clients that are interested in it. So we may, at some point in time, depending on how it goes, we may launch a virtual as well.
Okay, so tell us really quick what this is going to be, because Julie gave me the rundown, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be where in Rowayton and New Canaan?
Yep, we're going to flip-flop.
In Rowayton and New Canaan. So this is in Fairfield County, close to Greenwich, not far at all. And then if you don't live anywhere near Fairfield County, Connecticut, maybe hopefully eventually you can do this from a distance, but you can also do like private human design from a distance, right?
All the time.
That's what's the great thing about technology. Okay, so tell us really quick before we dive into me, what this offering is going to be.
So this offering is a mentorship that is actually beautiful because it was solely built out of our friendship. And I knew that we were going to work together, and I've just been waiting for that moment. So a lot of my human design chart is about divine timing. I get to know things ahead of time, but I have to wait for the right time to implement them. So finally, the other day we sat down, and Julie, with her human design, she's a projector. She's that wise sage. She just had this intuitive hit come to her, and she's like, Brianne, we just need to write down what our friendship is about. And we literally wrote bullet points about our entire friendship.
She told me about this list
and
that you guys made.
Built a program out of it. And our business name is Joyful Alignment.
Because Julie is Clear Space for Joy, and you are Be Aligned.
Be Aligned.
It's just too good.
And it's perfect. So really, this is going to be a community of friendship. There's so many people out there who are looking for aligned friendships, and they just need someone to guide them and mentor them. So I really get into the depth of your soul and get you into alignment with who you are. I can penetrate your aura, and really, I just know who you are. And I do everything I can to make you feel it. And I have these anchoring moments where you're going to feel it in your body. And I always say, that is you. Don't forget that. And then the beauty of Julie with her being a projector. So I'm a manifesting generator. I just intuitively know all of these things. Julie is a projector. So she sees things from like a bird's eye view. And most of the population has like 52 pieces to the puzzle. Projectors like Julie, they actually have a secret extra few puzzle pieces that we don't even know about. Because we're going through life with blinders on like this, and she brings a perspective that we can't even see.
We can't even access.
We can't access.
Right.
That's the beauty of her. So she has the wisdom, and she knows things that nobody else does. So I go into the depth of your soul, find out who you are and what is best for you, teach you that. And then Julie brings in all of these beautiful practices, and we help release that generational trauma. Julie helps with breath work. She helps with yoga. She helps with your mindset. She nourishing yourself, your mind, body, and soul. So I'm really the depth, and she's the breadth.
Right. Oh, that was actually one of my episode titles.
Was it really?
One of my episode titles was depth over breadth. And it was with Kate Stone. She has Kate Stone College Consulting. And this is episode, I'm trying to think now. I don't know. You got to go back and look, guys. But it was a great one, because not only did she talk about with college essays and getting these kids ready for the real world, what matters now, and it's depth over breadth. It's not being a part of 7,000 different clubs and activities. It's
for some.
Well,
depending on your human design.
Right. But I'm saying in terms of like what the colleges are looking
Correct.
for. Right. And, but I loved this episode because it wasn't just about that. It was about, it was about all of us in our life and how sometimes like we're too overextended and there's too much breadth and not enough depth.
Right.
So it was a really, really powerful, impactful episode. And I got a lot of great feedback about it. So anyway, so
when you get the depth, then you can work on the breadth, because the breadth is in alignment with who you truly are. And everybody has a different way. Like for some people, human design might not resonate for them. And that's okay, because you're meant to resonate with something else.
Totally.
Right. There are different ways for everyone to access their true essence.
Okay. So let's dig in.
Okay.
Because we're talking about it and I have a better kind of grasp of it. But now I'm ready.
Okay, great. I'm going to give you
I volunteer as tribute.
I'm going to give you and everybody a quick rundown. There are 5 different energy types. So there's a reflector, there's a projector, there's a generator, a manifesting generator, and a manifester.
Okay. Now I did see the 5 types and I did read that like one is very rare, like, right? Like some are more rare. Reflector is more rare. And
Reflector is like 1% of the population. You are wonderful, beautiful souls. Every single soul is wonderful, but they just have a beauty in them. So the manifester, I really kind of like to try and explain it as like building a movie or a TV show. So the manifester is this beautiful, I call them unicorns, because they're protected, because they constantly get all of this creativity coming down from them, from the divine or whatever you believe in, because it all applies.
Right.
And they are here to create and bring into the world what we need. So they come up with the idea for the show, the movie, right? And then it goes down to the projectors. And the projectors are the wise sages that can see things that we can't. So they're going to take that idea, right? And manifestors, watch what you say, because whatever you speak happens. If you find out that you're a manifestor, please come and talk to me so you can be your friend, your own friend, right? And then Julie, the projector, will come in and be like, oh, manifestor, you missed this. Like, you need to make these tweaks. So they're the director, right?
Right.
And then the generators and the manifesting generators, we are here to build and create. You're a generator. So you are a working bee. You were meant to work. So when you're not working, you're out of alignment, because you are full of energy and you are here to bring whatever the manifestors and projectors decide needs to be. We build it, because they can't, right? Because we have a defined sacral, and that defined sacral is an energy center, the most powerful energy center. And then we have manifesting generators, which is a combination of manifestors and generators, which is me. And then we have reflectors. So the reflectors come, and they are literally, what do you call them when people like review the show?
Oh, the critics.
The critics, right? So they're going to sit there and they're going to be like, you missed it. You did it wrong. So they are here to show the world and tell the world where we're getting it wrong and what we need to fix.
Oh my gosh, this is fascinating.
Right?
So I'm a generator.
You're a generator.
And you know that from my birth date, where I was born, and the time of my birth.
Yep.
And how does the time of birth influence that? Because I was interested that was one of the questions.
The time of birth is really the planets, right? So that takes into astrology and like the energy of the day as well. So everybody, like you have like a soul map and a personality. So there's also, I think it's like, don't quote me because I'm a manifesting generator and I don't get all the details. I think it's like 60 or 80 days. It was funny. I had a speaking engagement and one of my clients was in the audience. She was like, actually, Brianne, you're wrong. And I was just like, thank you. She's a projector. And she interrupted. I was like, thank you, projectors, for protecting me. So it's really based off of astrology. And then you get into your Hindu chakra system. So it's really just a map, but that doesn't really matter. You don't need to know that, because when it's read to you, you just feel it in your body. So you're a generator. You are here to work. So when you're not working or you're not using your energy, you feel out of alignment and you feel frustrated. So every energy type has a different emotion of when they're in alignment and when they're out of alignment. Okay. When you are out of alignment or something's not for you, or you don't have clarity on it, you will feel frustrated or stuck. Right? Yes. And you know that noise you just made?
Yes.
You have a sacral noise inside your body, and it's called or
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right? You heard it. So this is just specific to generators and manifesting generators, not the other signs.
Okay. I feel kind of funny asking it, but I have to because it's really the forefront of my mind. I don't really feel like generator sounds that great.
What do you mean? Amazing. Everybody wants to be a generator because you're a magnet.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're a
okay.
magnet.
Oh, because it sounds like I'm just carrying out the work of like the people that are more enlightened than me or something.
No. You just have to sit there and it literally comes to you when it's in alignment.
Okay.
So you're a magnet and we're responding to things every minute. So we're responders. So something will come and something will happen. Like you have an idea, right?
Yes.
When you have an idea, you're not supposed to act on it until you have something to respond to. So for generators and manifesting generators, you have an idea and you need to wait to respond. So that could be like an email. An email comes in. Like let's say you're trying to book a vacation and you want a vacation and you're just like, oh, like I really need a vacation right now. And then you can't do anything because you don't have anything to respond to because it's just a thought and an idea.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get an email and it's just like, oh, vacations are on sale for blah, 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 blah. Or you see a billboard, come book your vacations here. Or Julie picks up the phone and calls you and she's like, oh my goodness, like I would really like to go on vacation right now. That's something to respond to.
Got it.
And
Got
then-
it. That actually has happened to me because I'm a travel writer.
All the time.
I'm a travel writer. And I remember when I first got into it, 12 or so years ago. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the time and we're running out. But when I first got into it, before my son was even born, I remember I went on a press trip. I was invited to go on a press trip in Cabo. And it was so magical. Actually, my husband and I got engaged on it, which is so wild. But it's like, it's like all expenses paid. Like they just flew us down there and like put us up in these 2 amazing hotels and all the dinners and the boats and the excursions, everything's taken care of. I remember coming back and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like I could really do this again. Like this was amazing. Like I really hope that I can go on another press trip. Like I just kept thinking, like, I really hope this is something that I can do at another time. I hope that I can. And then like the next day, randomly, I don't even know where it came from. I got invited to go to Barbados on my second press trip and all expense paid, flew me down, snorkeled with turtles, unbelievable experience, met the most incredible fellow journalists that were there covering the property. And actually I am leaving. I mean, by the time this episode airs, I will have come back, but I'm actually leaving on Saturday to Antigua on a press trip. And so anyway, so it's funny when you talk about this. So, okay. So, all right. So now I'm understanding generator a little bit better. I want to keep talking about this. This is so fascinating. I'm so grateful that you came on the show, Brianne. This is this is something I'm very much into, things like this, but this is something that is brand new to me. And I'm thinking probably brand new to many of our listeners.
Absolutely.
So let's just reiterate, if they want to get in touch with you, they can go on Instagram at b.aligned.bc. Okay. And then of course you can get in touch with me on Instagram at Dorothy on TV. And then if you're local to the area, you have to check out this amazing mentorship group that you and Julie are putting together. Joyful Alignment. How good does that sound? And anyway, thank you so much for coming in. It always flies by too much. Like, thank you so much to Pod Populi for having me in your Greenwich, Connecticut studio. We didn't really talk too much about Greenwich in this episode, but some are just that way. I always say Greenwich is a character. It's definitely a setting, but the show is about healing. It's about being better. It's about being more aligned with who we are and being better versions of ourselves. And this is definitely a tool that I think many people could benefit from. And as it turns out, I didn't know this or even think it, but as it turns out, many relationships and marriages can benefit from.
And parenting, so you know who your children are.
And parenting.
Every type needs a different way to be parented, a different way to sleep, a different way to eat. We didn't even get into your digestion.
We have to have you back.
We didn't get into everything.
We have to have you back because this was so fascinating. And I'm so grateful to everybody for tuning in. Please go on to Apple Podcasts if you like what you heard. Leave a review, leave some stars. If you found this to be really fascinating and you have a friend or a family member that might also, please just copy the link and paste it into a text message. And sharing is caring, because hopefully we're just all becoming better ourselves and making this world a better place. Anyway, I will see you all next week. Oh, thank you also to my sponsor, Steam. Definitely, oh my gosh, Steam is definitely doing a great job of bettering our community. They have incredible food. Moms, you can take a night off from cooking. That's like such a
Wait,
sexist. That's such a sexist thing to say. Like dads, you can too. But yeah, Steam is one of the sponsors of That Greenwich Life, and they have amazing food, and you can go to steamgreenwich.com. And I think there's one closer to you also.
I'll be looking at it up.
And they deliver. And also one thing that Steam's doing for the community of Greenwich, which I really love, is they extended their lunch special for like the middle schoolers and the teenagers that come to Greenwich Avenue after school and want to kind of like hang out and be together and maybe don't want to eat or can't eat at some of these fancier restaurants where they're sitting down with their friends and they're spending like $60 on a meal.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a really nice way
that's a
of
blessing.
improving the community, and you can eat in at the restaurant. So, the owner loves for it to kind of be like a gathering spot.
Like a family style.
Yeah. Like in a gathering spot for these youngsters that are just want to like hang out. So anyway, great new sponsor, and very grateful to them. So, oh my goodness, we are so over time. I will see you all back here next week. And like I always say, don't just live your life, love it. See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.